Hello, my name is Moxham, and we're going to be making a scroll bar in the Blender game engine. I'm going to try and make it really easy for you guys to follow. It's a nice easy method which I have worked out. So this is what we're going to be doing here. We're going to be creating data and we're just going to be displaying it based on the scroll bar. Really simple stuff. So 3 steps. We've got to get the mouse position, then we've got to get the scroll bar position, and then we've got to display the data accordingly, which is actually a lot easier than it sounds. So let's get straight into it. I'm just going to close that and just explain my default scene, which is up for download, but you probably want to make it yourself for your own game. So I've got 12 bitmap text objects here, named text slot 0 through 11, and they're just standard bitmaps. Yeah. Then we have the back object, which has the logic attached to it. So I recommend you do this on a controller, not part of your scene, just for tidiness sake, but this has got the Python script on it, which is scroll.py, which is up here, and empty. We have an always sensor with true level triggering turned on, and a mouse over any sensor, which has just been renamed to mower. There's no settings that have been changed there. Okay, and material, I've just turned physics off, and I've made it no collision, and shadeless, and changed the color, of course. Same for these, except for just the color. I've left physics on. Physics should be on for that. Oh no, I jumped the gun. Sorry about that. Physics should be on for both of those. Ignore that. You didn't see that. You didn't see that from me. We're going to get straight into it. So, of course, Blender game engine's turned on and I'm in GLSL. Cool, so we're just going to, sorry, probably should have typed this out before, but we're going to import the Blender game engine, and from BGE import logic. And then we're going to go controller. Get current controller. If I can type it out, I can't see the keyboard, sorry, because of the microphone. So own equals controller.owner, and we're going to get the scene as well. Sorry, I forgot to type logic. Dot. There we go. And we're going to get the global dictionary. Now this is presuming that the data you want to display is stored in the global dictionary. Now you can import your dictionary in other beans, but we've got to have a way of storing what we want to display in there, so we're going to use the global dictionary for that. And we're going to define our sensor, which is just cont.sensors more. Cool, and now we're going to make the initialization step, and in this we're going to create our data for what we're going to display here, and then we're going to display it, so we're going to load it in, so it doesn't load every tick, it loads during the init and doesn't get changed unless you scroll. We're also going to set a few standard values which we're going to use for the scroll bar. So we're going to go if init, not in own, which it isn't, own init equals false. And we're actually going to go out of that and say if own init equals false, and then leave a few spaces and go own init equals true. So what we've done here is we've said, okay, init's not going to be in this object here. The owner is the one with the Python script in it, and there's no init there, so it's going to create one called false, and then it's going to check if it's false, and then run the init. Now, we could just run the init once it checks that it's not there, but of course, if this is a menu which you've got to refresh and reload and do different things with, it's handy to have a callable thing to do a reinitialize. So in this case you can just say init equals false and it will run it for you. If we do it in if init not unknown, we'll have to remove the object and re-add it to fix that. So there is method to my madness. Okay, so we're going to create our dictionary, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to calculate how big our dictionary is. So we're going to call this total. We're going to go random dot triangular. And in this we're going to set our values, so we're going to go between 50 and 800, and our mode is going to be 100. And up on the very first line where it says import BGE, we're going to put a comma and go import random. So import BGE, comma, random. And then we're going to put int in front of it, and then put our statement random.triangular in parentheses to turn it into an integer, because triangular returns a float. And what this does is it goes, we're going to pick a number between 50 and 800 with 100 as the mode, so there's a 50% chance that it's going to be between 50 and 100, and a 50% chance it's going to be between 100 and 800. And this is the amount of data that we're going to have, which we can scroll through. And I'm making it random so I can demonstrate that the scroll bar works with different amounts of data. I mean, I can make that 1 to 2000 if we felt the need. And we're going to, we're going to go store it in our object, so own total instead of total. Here we go. Next we're going to do is we're going to create our library, our dictionary. And we're just going to go GD items equals curly brackets. And it's just going to create our dictionary that we can store into. So now we're going to make a while loop. And it's going to go through 0 for total. So I'm just trying to think why I'm doing it with a while loop. So for I in range total, sorry, it should be own total now. We're going to go thinking of a letter, sorry, J, because it's after I in the alphabet. Random things. We're going to go random dot uniform. We're going to go between 1 and 100. So now for every single value in our total, so it's going to go through whatever our total number is, it's going to go through that many times, and it's going to define J, which is a random float between 1 and 100. And then we're going to store this into our dictionary. So we're going to go GD items, and we're going to go I, so it stores in the number, so we can index it, so we can reference it later. So we know 1 is the top one, and 1,800 something, whatever it is the bottom one. Or 800 is the highest. I shouldn't have said that. And then we're just going to go equals J, because that's the value it is. So it's going to, sorry, I've already explained it. Why am I going to do it again? And then now we're going to display this onto our text object. So we're going to go for I in range 12, which is one for every single text object we have. We're just going to go scene dot objects. We're going to go text slot plus I. Plus string I in parentheses. My goodness, there's a giant cricket crawling up the wall right in front of me. Guess that's what I get for living in New Zealand. Text equals string GD items I, because we're going to be starting from 0 whenever it's loaded, so we know that. So I'm just going to open the console, put it over there just in case I get a bug. I don't want you guys to see my errors. And no, we're fine, and as you can see, we've perfectly displayed. So what we'll do is we'll just go, and we want to see how much, what our total is. So we're just going to go own total to see how many variables we have, because we can only see the first 12 there. And in this case, it has generated 285 items in our dictionary to display, so that we can scroll through. Now that that's done, we've got to do the other stuff. Yes, okay. So we've got to define width. So first we're going to say, okay, at the beginning of the game, our current top item is 1. And we also have to define where the top of the bar is, which is currently 0.6794. I mean, I'm doing this now just for tidiness sake. You can reference it later, but meh. That's going to equal 0.06794. And that's just our scroll bar object here. Now, I've done worst case scenario in which the camera's rotated by 90 degrees, and we're going to be going from the local axes. So what we do is under here, under orientation, transform orientation, we change it to local if it's not at the moment. And if you click this in the green bars facing up, like this object here, you can go Control A and then apply rotation, and as you can see the blue bars pointing up, and you want to do that for this object here. Yep, there you go. And that's it for the init section of the script. Yay! Okay, so now what we're going to do is we've got to do the really simple stuff and just check if the mouse is actually clicking, because it needs to click to detect anything. So we're going to go if logic.mouse.events 190, oh my memory's so good, equals 2. We're going to run our script. But of course, it can't just be clicking anywhere, so this is where the mouse over any comes in. We've got to go if string. I'm just going to reference the object name. You can find the object specifically, but I mean, this is just a quick show, so show you how to do it nice and easy way. So this is an easy way. Equals scrollbar, and that's the name of this object here, just in case you have it different. So just make sure you don't have more than one of those in the scene, otherwise you're going to run into a few issues. Don't forget my colon there, and then we're going to run everything. So we know what the top is, so we're going to define it here, and I'm just going to call it OTop for object top, and it's going to equal own bar top. Now we're going to work out the difference between the top and the bottom. So I've got the handy calculator open here, and I'm just going to move this to the bottom, like so, and I'm just going to copy that. Oh, sorry, I'm going to take this value first and get that into the calculator so I can actually work it out. So, copy paste, and then take this bottom value and just go minus that equals 0.10705. So 0.10705. And that is correct. So now I'm just going to move that back to top precisely by actually copying what I had before, so it's back where it was. And now we've got to work out where the mouse top and the mouse bottom is. Now to find mouse position, it's a matter of 0 is the top and 1 is the bottom on this axis. So we just got to find the mouse position. So I'm just gonna down here just write a print command. So print logic.mouse.position 1. Now of course, if you're doing a sideways scroll bar, all you have to do is rotate, change the axes that you're working with. So if it's going that way, make sure that whenever I set a number like position 1, you make sure you're doing it on the right axis. So 1 represents up and down, and 0 represents sideways. So now I'm going to just quickly scooch that across like that. Bring the console over. Hopefully I don't get any errors. You guys can put me to shame. Cool, and as you can see, it's now printing out the values for where my mouse is on the up and down axes. I'm just going to move it up to the center there, and I'm getting 1.0. So we're just going to go m top equals 0.180.156. 6 places is enough, and now we're just going to work out where the bottom is. So somewhere around there. I'm not going to be too accurate. I don't want to spend too much time on this. Sorry. And we're just going to call that mbot. So we might have a few errors with the spacing of our script, so to get this right, just spend a lot more time. I'll find a more precise way of working it out than that. 853. Don't mock my pronunciation of the number 3. I'm sorry, I can't do it, even if you made me. And that's that. Cool, and the very last value that we have to define is our position on the z-axis for the mouse. And that's just going to be logic.mouse.position 1, exactly as the print command. And we can get rid of the print command. Could have just copied and pasted, but what fun would that be? Cool, sorry I said that was the last one we had to define. I'm just going to quickly, just for tidiness sake, just going to define the variables for our item top, which is just own item top. Sorry, item total. I don't know why I said top, because the next one's top, sorry. Oh, my mind works in very weird ways. Equals own front top. Okay, so what we have to work with is we have the object top, which is the scroll bar, and then the difference between the top and the bottom. We then have the mouse top, and we have the mouse button, and then we have the current mouse position. And what we need to do is we need to translate the mouse position 0, 1 from the top and bottom of the screen to 0 and 1 from the top and the bottom of the scroll bar. And this is luckily done with algebra that you learn when you're 10 years old, if you live in New Zealand. So let's do this really quickly. So first we've got to work out where the mouse is from the top of the scroll bar. We're going to go from top equals the current mouse position, which is m-pos z, minus mouse top. And then we're going to work out the distance, which is just bottom minus top, so m-bot minus m-top. And then we're going to work out the percentage, so 0 to 1. Sorry, I call it percent, but it's not really percent, it's just me naming things badly again. And we're just going to take from top divided by m distance. And now what that's going to be giving us is it's going to be giving us 0 from the top of the scroll bar and 1's at the bottom of the scroll bar. Yay! And now what we have to do is we have to turn that into object's position so that we can have the object follow it. And that's much easier because we already know where the top and the bottom of the scroll bar is. So all we have to do is work out the object position on the z-axis. So O pos z, and this is done because we've already calculated the percentage for the mouse position. So all we have to do is get the difference between the top and the bottom and times it by the percent that we worked out earlier. And now we can go scene.objects scroll bar dot local position. Make sure you get local position, and then z-axis is number 2. If you're going left to right, it's the x-axis or whatever is showing up for you. If you're going back to front, which you probably won't be, if it's a user interface, it's 0. Okay, and then that equals object top minus object pos z. So, minus or plus? I think it's plus. Oh my goodness. So if we hit play, and we, whoop, sorry, I've got an error. Item total does not exist. Okay. What line is that? That's line 39. This here. Own item total. I just called it own total. My bad. If we hit play, no errors. And if we, whoop. Okay, it's moving. Sorry, it must be minus. What was I thinking? What was I thinking? You don't have to be so mean. And there we go. We've got the scroll bar following the mouse. As you can see, it's going all the way off, and that's really easy to fix. What we're doing while working out here, we're just going to indent all this and make sure that we're in the right parameters. So we're going to go if current mouse position is greater or equal than mouse top position. So we're saying, okay, if the mouse is below the top point, sorry, because 0 is at the top and 1's at the bottom, I'm confusing myself. You don't know what's going on in my brain, but I do. So we're working out mouse position, and yeah, with the mouse top, it's just making sure that it's below that point that was set. So it's got to be greater than 0.180157. So if it's any higher, it won't move. And then we've got to make sure that it's above the bottom position as well. So that's just m pos z is less or equal to m bot. Cool. So now if we hit play on that, we can't go any higher. As you can see, my really bad inaccuracies of mouse position have resulted in it not going all the way to the top and all the way to the bottom. But I'm sure you can work that out better yourself. New problem is we've got an issue where if we move the mouse too fast, the object doesn't keep up, and because we're making sure that the mouse is over the scroll bar before we run anything, it's losing control of stuff. But that also brings up another feature where if you click on the bar, most of the time it scrolls down to find you. And that's a really easy fix. We're going to turn off the physics, which I've previously done, because I wrote this, deleted it, then started again, but forgot to reset this, and we're going to change the physics to no collision. So physics turned off in the material settings, and in the physics settings turning it to no collision. And we're going to change this to scroll bar back, which is the object behind it. So if we hit play now, we click there, it's going to snap, like so. Cool. very last part of the tutorial, we've got 3 more lines to write. Lucky us. Nope, we've got 6 more lines to write. I think. Yes, we do. So what we're going to do now is we've got to, sorry, dry throat, work out the items which are going to display, which is just as easy as the rest that we're doing. So continuing on, we're going to work out the distance for the items, like we did for impos, you know. Cool, and this is just going to be, sorry, I'm trying to think. Sorry, I just explained it wrong. I've got the wrong thing in my mind. So, there we go. Sorry, it had to do with the item numbering. I got it in my head. I can't get it out in words. So, what I've got to do is we've got to keep defining our new top object. So, pretty much the way it works, all 12 of them out as it goes, okay, this is what the top should be. I can run all the rest from the top one, and the top one's just defined by how far the scroll bar is down. So the I distance, sorry, is just the item total minus 1 because we start at 0 instead of 1. So new top is going to be integer, making sure it's an integer, and it's just going to be I distance times m%, because it's a 0 to 1 to the bottom. And yeah. So now I'll just show you guys, because I've got to show myself as well. I've lost faith in my memory. So let's get this over across again. See my error from earlier. We hit play. Scroll down. As you can see, 0 being the first item, we're now printing out the top item. So in our dictionary, and it's now displaying number 89 as the top object. In numbers, of course, it's not yet displaying it there. So yeah, going up and down, as we can see, it's working. Yay. I almost lost faith in myself then. Cool, so now what we have to do is print out all the item numbers. So that's really easy. For I in range 12, same as before. Alright, forgot my colon. Now we're going to go scene dot objects text slot. Oh, what am I doing? Text slot plus string I. Yep. Text equals string. And then we've got to find our the item from the dictionary. So items course. Okay, so we've just got to find out what item it is. And that's easy. So the top one is new top, which is just you know, yeah, I'm losing my train of thought. So we know what the top is, and the top is what we're going through for everything here. So now what we have to do is go new top plus everything up to 12. So again, we're going to go with J, because it's the letter after I. J equals I plus new top. And then if we put J there, that should work. Let's go play. And there we go. Working like a charm, we're scrolling through all our items. Very easy, I say. That's the end of the tutorial. We'll just scroll out, just in case you didn't catch all the script there. See it all in one item. And this can be applied for not just numbers, but you can also apply it for objects. Of course, it's a lot of ending and adding objects. You can't have massive lists, but you can do inventories like that. And general data. Just scroll through your data, like so. Really easy. As you can see, if we click there, it detects, and we get our new values. Really easy. So leave a comment if you have any questions or requests. Of course, there's a lot of expansions that you can do onto the scroll bar. Lots of features that you can add and stuff like that. And it's not that hard. I mean, we did that in 56 lines, including all the adding stuff and white spaces and the init script, which is usually somewhere else in your scripts. And yeah, I don't recommend having it separate like I have for the tutorial. You probably need to have this with all the rest of your user interface script, like in Ascent. My scroll section is something like line 2200. I can show you guys if you want, actually. Bring it up. No, it's not there, don't worry. So yeah, hopefully a new tutorial will be coming out soon, and yeah, thank you for watching. If you made it this far, I know I'm pretty painful to listen to because I ramble a lot, but yeah, see you later, see ya.